Hello BookTube. I've got a new video today. I'm going to be doing my February reading wrap up. Ooh, I've got the list on my phone, and yeah, because I read too much I can't keep up. But anyway, let's get started. So in February, the first book I read was The Song of Achilles. I know, you're like, Andrew, haven't you read that already? No, I'm very late to the party, as you'd say. Um, and I loved it so much. It was such a good debut novel. Like, I didn't know it was her first book, but the pacing and the writing, I love that it was a queer take on the Iliad. It was so worth its hype, and I'm so mad at myself. Not mad, but I'm just like shocked I didn't get to it earlier or read it in my teens. But I love it. If I ever see a copy, I'm picking it up. Recommend. Go. I think everyone who's watching this has read The Song of Achilles, but pick it up. Yeah, give it a reread. Why not? After that, I read Is Anyone Listening by Denise L. Hersing. And this is a lovely book about animals and how they communicate with others. And there's dolphins and all these different types of animals, and it was so lovely. And if you want a non-fiction book about animals and how they talk to each other, pick that up. It's really lovely. Then we're getting to physical books now. I read Hemnet by Maggie O'Farrell. I've already talked about this book. It's iconic, amazing, lovely. Well, it's not really lovely. It's very sad, but it's a, I can't even word. But it's talking about Agnes and how she raises kids and the trauma she goes through, and being married to Billy Shakes. Iconic. Penguin Black Spine. This when I'm older, this and Song of Achilles better be in the Penguin Black Spines, or I'm gonna be very disappointed in Penguin and whoever else is involved. Next, I read. This has got a inappropriate cover, but it's a classic, so you can have that. And that's the erotic poems by Ovid. I love Ovid so much. Especially the art of love's in here, and the way he's like, remember a girl's birthday. I'm like, Ovid, you go king. Like, he's so good. Don't know about the way he treats women, but it is an interesting look into ancient Rome to see how women were treated back then. And it's very lovely. This is a very nice translation if you find it. Ovid's awesome. I can say I've read a lot of Ovid because the last 2 months have all been about Ovid. And yeah, so what's next? So I look at my list. Okay, next is, and this has got a ramble. So I read Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, and it was garbage. It was trash. This is so mean, but so me and Ali go back. I remember when Ali came out with the Love Hypothesis, and I love that book. It is so awful, but so iconically bad, and she's never been able to match that. And I've read all of her stuff that's come, everything, all her novels. I've done those short story collections, like the 3 of them, but everything else, like the extra audios and whatever, I haven't done that. But in terms of novels, yeah, she has not managed to capture lightning in the bottle again. And whenever she tries to do YA, it's just somehow worse. I'm sick of her doing STEM. I know she's slowly moving away, but Love Theoretically and Love on the Brain aren't really that good. If you're going to do one other Ali book besides The Love Hypothesis, do Bride, which is her take on a paranormal romance, and it was actually really good. Her fanficky writing style really suits a paranormal romance, and Bride was good. The reason I'm talking about Bride is because Deep End was so bad. It has ugly AI cover, and I'm low-key waiting until she gets called out for using AI so I don't have to read her anymore. Even though I don't want to put anything out there. I don't want to manifest. But if Ali gets called out for AI, I'm dropping her. But until then, I do want to keep up with Ali's releases because why not? Like, it's a book, like 2 books a year. I can do that. Um, After that, I read The Spy by James Fenimore Cooper. This was for Roger's Cheap Old Book Club, and again, I did not like it. The pacing was so bad. It was left all to the very end, all the plot. The writing was fine, but it was just so long, like 500-ish pages, and I'm like, no, this could have been 300. Like, no. We'll see how we go with other books on Roger's Cheap Old Book Club. Next, my friend recommended, because she really loved it, Morning Glory Milking Farm. And what was I going to say? I could instantly tell you when this book came out. Like, it is very much in that late 2010s, very early 2020s, like a monster romance erotica era. And it wasn't good. My friend liked it, but I didn't. I thought it was pretty boring. I listened to it as an audio and I felt dry and nothing. And yeah, so I read that. After that, we're gonna have a bit of a jump. I read Ancient Christianities by Paula Fredrickson, and this delves into one of my favorite non-fiction topics ever, and that's early Christianity, like pre-Eusebius, where we know like nothing, because it really gives a chance for an author to like show off their writing if they can like write about a time period where we don't know much, and if they can make that engaging like Paula Fredrickson did, because I really liked it. It was a lovely introduction to this era of Christianity, and she covered a lot of great topics. Pick it up if you ever see it. I want to read more if she's written more. But yeah, recommend. We love early ancient Christian history. That's why we love Augustine as well. What else did I read? I did read Sharks. I already talked about this in my Sharks book, but pick it up. It's a history of paranoia about sharks in Australia. That doesn't, sharks central over here. Like, we're on an island surrounded by sharks. Like, a shark could just, may as well evolve and walk on land and we'd all die. But until then, we have to worry about that. What else did I read? For the Well Read Book Club, hosted by Carolyn Marie Reeds. I forgot to mention Hamnet was part of that. That was their book in January. I didn't get to it until February, but that's okay. But for February, the read was Hamlet. I only have a complete works. I don't have Billy Shakes as like a single volume, like in terms of like single plays. So I've only got like big chunky ones. But it's Hamlet. Like, what do I say? It's iconic. I still don't know what genre of play it is. It's not really a tragedy. It's not a comedy. I don't know. I love Hamlet. I've probably read it 3 times in my life. Iconic. We love Billy Shakes on this channel. And if you haven't read Hamlet, please pick it up. Please. Next, because of Benjamin McAvoy High Call Lit, whatever, I reread Ovid. I read Ovid the Metamorphoses for the first time last year and really enjoyed it. We love Ovid. I love myths retellings. I don't have a favourite, to be honest, because all of them are so iconic. I'm trying to think, what ones do I love? I love when, I can't remember names to save my life tonight, but when that lady turns into a tree, like in, I forget the cover, who was it? Apollo and Daphne, iconic. We love poetry, ancient poetry. Get this edition. It's Penguin. Very nice modern translation. So yeah, I read Ovid and it was very lovely. So I can say I've read a lot of Ovid. What else did I read? Sabrina Jeffries, again, Duke Undercover, or Undercover Duke, we love. Sorry, I'm scrolling through to see what else did I read. Okay, next we're going to go into my Douglas Stewart era, because I read Shuggy Vane and Young Mongo. I love these books. I love Douglas Stewart. He is a new, maybe, favorite author. He's pretty much, if you're like, I love A Little Life, but I want more books of that, pick up these. You will love them. Sad gay books, iconic, new favorite gay author, like, and pick them up if you love A Little Life. That's all I'm gonna say. What else did I read? Okay, I went through a phase, just a tad, where I was into Ned Kelly biographies. Um, if you don't know who Ned Kelly is, he lived in like the late 1800s, and he was like a, a bush ranger, which pretty much means he was a criminal who like lived in the bush and killed police. And I read three biographies of him. I read Black Snake, which was lovely. Hanging Ned Kelly, which wasn't that good, and Nabbing Ned Kelly. And the thing with Ned Kelly biographies, because I've been obsessed with him like my whole life, like how people obsess over Jack the Ripper is how I obsess over Ned Kelly. But you find with a lot of Ned Kelly biographies is that some of them, like the Peter Fitzsimmons biography, they get so caught up on the myth of Ned Kelly, like they get too into him as a figure and not who he actually was as a person, because he wasn't that heroic. He wasn't a Robin Hood. He was a criminal. And if you don't like that, I'm sorry. Well, anyway. But yeah, so Black Snake and Nabby Ned are really two good books to start if you want to learn about Ned Kelly. Just pick them up, audiobook and whatever, Amazon. Hanging Ned Kelly, I didn't like as much because the author was trying to do a Ned Kelly biography, but also trying to do like a history of like criminal punishment, colonizationists in Australia, and trying to mesh the two. It was too much for one book, and yeah, that's really all I have to say. He did do a good job, like explaining those two different sides, like of the book, but I think together it just clashed. It wasn't that it was focused, but it wasn't. If it was one book if he wrote one book about Ned Kelly, then another one about like criminal punishments in Australia, that would have been lovely. But instead, the two together didn't go as much as like it didn't work as much as I wanted it to. Okay, next for retro romance, I did do one book, and I done a Barbara Cartland novel. I done Love Is the Enemy, and me and Barbara have a interesting relationship, because I don't know why she's such a big author. Like literally, like biggest selling authors ever. She pumped out novels, and this is probably my third one of Barbara, because I never see her secondhand. Like I don't even know if she had a print run here in Australia in the last like 50 years or whatever, because I only find her in like mass markets that are like ancient. But I can't even remember what this book was about, because it was so like old historical romance, and I don't like Barbara. Her characters are so mean. Her men aren't likable. She's just a poor man's Georgia Hare, and I really mean that. You know, she even stole from Georgia Hare, like stole characters and stuff. We don't like Barbara Cartland, but every time I see her secondhand, I will pick her up, because I want to see if there is a novel I like from her. She only has like 4 million novels. I think they probably are still publishing novels, and she's been dead for like literally 25 years. Like she's been dead longer than I've been alive. But I will continue to read some Barbara Cartland if I find any. Next, I read Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. And I read it because Sarah at the Bookish Knitter read it, and I was like, me and Tessa have a complicated relationship pretty much. So with Tessa, I really enjoyed Hook, Line, Sink, and It Happened One Summer, like her two big books. I really enjoyed them when they came out. But every other book I've read has been an absolute failure. I hated the My Killer Vacation and like the Grapevine. I don't think it's a grapevine, but I'll see what it is actually. But yeah, me and I don't want to say again Tessa's AI. Like I'm pretty sure Tessa's a real person, but some of her writing can be a bit rough. I read Secretly Yours. That was it, and yeah, I didn't like those two books, but Fangirl Down kind of slapped. It was so fun, and a tennis romance was so different and sweet. And I thought that was so unique. I heard the rest of the series was more hockey based, and I'm so scarred by pucking around and icebreakers. I don't want to do another hockey romance, but like I'm, I do. I am kind of thinking I want to read all of Tessa Bailey's romances. Like, just why not? So maybe like in a month or 2 months, over a period of 2 months, I'll just read all the other ones. Like, why not? I've got. I may as well catch up with Tessa, but yeah. So fangirl down. If you like, um, I don't know what to say. If you like, um, Tessa Bailey, pick it up. You already like it. You already read this book if you like Tessa Bailey, but if you've liked some of her other novels, try this one. It's lovely. There's the spy scenes are a bit much, and as you expect for Tessa Bailey, but it is. It was good, and I really liked it compared to some of her other stuff. Okay, next, last book. I read Lady Susan by Jane Austen. This was for, um, oh my god, what's the name of the reader? Oh my god, um, I actually can't remember. Is it? I'm trying to remember. Regency. Oh my god, what's the Regency um reader book? Read along, not read along, but like Regency era. I can't remember. I'm so sorry. It's very late and I'm filming this and I'm very tired, but I want to get this uploaded. Um, anyway, so Lady Susan, I read this like 2 days ago, and it's a very early Jane Austen, and it was her. Like there was a main Lady Susan. She's pretty much like a wicked villain, pretty much. And it was so sweet for Jane Austen to do that because she hasn't really tapped into that. She didn't tap into that energy with any of her other characters, and it was nice to see her, tackle into that character type. And I really, what stopped me from really loving it was that it was told as in letters, like an epistolary novel, and it's very short. But I feel like if I just wanted Jane Austen prose at the end of this, and if this was like just as prose, I would have loved it a sliver a bit more. But anyway, pick up Lady Susan. There's also the Watsons and Sanditon, which I do want to read, because and maybe I'll save them for like Jane Austen July or something or whatever, because I haven't read these two. I've read the 6 novels, but I haven't read some of her other stuff. So because I'm holding off because I don't want to be done with Jane Austen. But yeah, so that was all I read in February. We read a lot, and yeah, when I look at it now, we've done a lot of diverse books, and we love that. I'm still trying to think of the name for Regency. Oh my god, it's gonna literally kick me up at night, but that's all right. We'll anyway. But yeah, that was the video. It was a bit unhinged, a bit wild. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Thank you, BookTube.